hand and everybody does it, the volume of the conversation goes down, and it's an easier way than saying, hey, can I please have your attention, and can I please continue the conversation. So, what I would love you to quickly hear is from every little conversation, some of the highlights of what was it that you were talking about. So what was it in this role, and why are you standing here? Like some insights of your conversation, and you can do it in Russian as well if that's more convenient. But I'd love to hear quickly from all the roles and what your conversation was about. So you just talked about something, right? Like you are standing here for a reason. Can you give a little bit of insight to the bigger group of what you were just talking about as a group? Yeah.
So the sum of our conversations is that it's a place to help each other and to connect people and to make them understand each other. For example, we listen to different languages when they come from different backgrounds, etc., etc. So this is for us, I think, more about help.
Nice. Yes, exactly. How about here, at Nourish and Protecting? Why are you standing here? Why is it important to be here?
Ну, мы понимаем свою роль в том, что если мы говорим о неких изменениях, то нам нужно условия для этого создать. А в нашей стране такие условия преимущественно создаются органами власти. Поэтому, если то, что мы хотим достичь, зайдет в органы власти, то нам нужно постараться, чтобы все участники чувствовали себя комфортно, свободно творили, коннектили, там, сохраняли, оберегали, переформатировали, придумали новые модели и так далее. Поэтому мы видим вот в этом существенную миссию, в том, чтобы... И самое главное здесь, вот про ресурсы. Если мы переходим, мы должны по-другому расставить вот эти веса значимости для ресурсов. Если мы говорим, допустим, про традиционную и там возобновляем, мы говорим, все, нефть не качаем, только ветер, солнце там, и вода, да? То есть вот это про это. Мы так поняли.
Cool. Thank you. I would be really interested to see how in different cultures some roles are different, right? In some cultures there is a stronger need for this space, or there's a cultural element to that as well. So thank you for sharing that. And then we have the prototype. Can I hear a little bit from you as well? Like, why are you standing here and why is this important?
Я продолжу говорить. Я считаю, что все-таки изменение способа мышления в России через органы власти все-таки не зайдет, потому что оно предполагает изменения, все-таки внутренние изменения, а не внешние. Да? То есть со стороны органов власти может зайти просто программы какие-то, да, ну, поддержка, но изнутри, если попытаться изменить способ, он все-таки предполагает активное участие самого субъекта. Изменение способа. То есть у человека должна быть склонность, желание именно изменить способ, не просто учиться, а изменить именно способ этого обучения. Здесь и почему еще опять-таки мнение не зайдет, потому что надо для того, чтобы те, кто это пытается довести до населения, сами продемонстрировали изменение своего способа мышления. И как бы вот в этом плане может быть некое недоверие к органам власти, потому что, ну, может быть, мы не видим изменения этого способа, а те, кто нас будет учить.
Может быть, не так доносит тем языком. Это ответ.
You're colleagues, right? So you can have that conversation tomorrow. And then I would love to hear from the conservator. Why are you standing here? What do you see as the importance of that role?
Я встала в эту позицию, потому что я считаю, что есть уже давно придуманный способ, как рассказывать вот об этом, как живет система, как она развивается и как учить этому мыслить. Есть такая научная дисциплина, как общая экология, в которой, в принципе, объясняется, как живут естественные экосистемы, по каким принципам они развиваются, что для них важно. И я работаю с детьми и учу их экологии, и, собственно, на природных системах намного проще детям донести, показать, как это все работает, а потом это перенести какие-то аналогии в нашу жизнь, на общество. Вот, так что я считаю, что важно сохранять те знания, которые вот были наработаны в общей экологии, и их распространять, потому что это такая основа для формирования системного мышления.
Thank you. Then I would love to hear, because what you often see is that there's not a lot of people here in the hospicing role. It's a really special one, and it often happens when you do this exercise, that it's completely empty. And I think that's also something you see in society as well, where not a lot of people are actually thinking about how to take care of the system that is fading out. So I think it's a really important role, so thank you for standing here. And I'd love to hear a little bit more about why you decided to stand here.
Well, to my mind, especially in Russia, the so-called old system, old world is massive. We live in an old world. So I think our first task is to learn to make a dialogue with this old world and to motivate it to change and to help it to change gracefully. And as we saw in America, for example, with all the democratic agenda making claims about climate change and everything, we saw the old world fighting back. Donald Trump is here. So I think it's of the big importance to learn to communicate with the old world and not to despise it and to work with it.
Like it a lot. We had the prototypes already. And the people that are building bridges to help people move from the old system to the new system. Can you tell me a little bit more about what your conversation was about and why you're standing here?
Okay, I can explain. So, as I understand everybody, so we have in Russia very great basis of education of our systems, government system, I don't know, scientific systems and blah 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 blah, but actually it doesn't work. So and of course we have a really great basis in educational system also, but it is a system of USSR times, and maybe the connection between the generations and the methodics of education is a little bit lost. So, but actually everybody of us has a basis of our great Russian education, but we have a lot of methodics from different countries, from US, European Union and Asian countries also, and we try to collect all experiences from other countries and like involve it in our educational system, not just educational, but in all systems of course. And try to build new, more efficient maybe system and methods of, I don't know, communication between people, between other, I don't know, between other levels of our country's systems. That's why all people here feel their role like ambassador from the past time to future. Yes, and we try to like just improve it and use all methods that we can use. Something like this.
Nice. Thank you. Then amplifying and ordering, who is standing here and like helping show what and grow what works. Anybody standing here?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know where is it. Oh yeah. No.
No?
No. Okay. No.
That's alright, that happens. And was there anybody standing here at like the maturing phase?
I'm here.
Yes! Okay. Tell us more, please.
So I'm here because nobody's here.
Okay, good.
So here I am. You're very welcome.
Uh-huh.
So like, I just made an overview about everything and I can agree with everything that the people talked about. And I don't know, like it's just impossible not to stay in the part of the old system, because like I think that we got the mature system, educational system, and some schools, and I can even name it, for example, Holoshkola. It's in Moscow.
Yeah.
And I think that it's, you know, a school that already implemented everything that we can implement here in Russia. And it's just a mature thing from us. So
Nice.
that is why I'm here, because we have it,
Yes.
and
Thank
people
you.
should know about it.
Thank you. So I know that we're already past 9, so like this is one of the many ways you can work in a, like, this is what we call like a participatory way, where I am not teaching you how all of this works, but you're actually making sense out of these things together. So normally we would have different rounds and I would ask different questions. So just to show that, like, the final questions, and then we will close and we won't have loads of conversations around it. But I would like to invite you to actually stand at the place that feels most unnatural to you. So where do you feel most uncomfortable in this model and which one doesn't come natural to you? Alright, so what are you seeing? What is happening here now? Does it feel different?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I don't really want to be here. Alright, so as said, like, I won't go into details, but there's many ways you play around with it. So one thing that we also do is I could ask you, for example, like, in this change of the educational system, where would you most like to be? So not necessarily where you feel comfortable, what do you really think is your role in this educational change? And then what I would do if we had more time, I would have you pair up together if you're standing here at the same role and actually go on a walk together and have a conversation around what are the main characteristics you need to actually be able to fulfill this role and what are some of the main challenges that you're facing with it. And then I would send you out on like a half an hour, 45-minute walk. Then we could all come back in the room again and have another conversation or like, hey, what is actually needed to have this role in systems change? So this is just a tiny, tiny little piece of the work that we do in Sweden and in terms of like the art of hosting, and there's many, many different ways of working like this. Like we have groups until like 150 to 300 people working together in like big spaces like this for 3 full days. And it's often a pretty special experience for people because then they actually see what it means when the collective intelligence becomes in the room. Because on a presentation, on our piece of paper, it's a really abstract concept, and you kind of need to experience this and what it means. The same goes with participatory education. Like, it's a really nice word, but what does it actually mean? So hopefully, I'm sorry that I didn't have more time because I would have loved to do more of this. What I would love from you to hear is just like a little quick feedback of what it was like, or did you enjoy it? Did you think it was horrible and are you excited to just go home and have a glass of drink? Just a little bit of what it was like. And then I think we
this exercise or
just in general.
In general.
Yes.
I can go.
Yes.
I think it was. I had different expectation when I was coming here because I was thinking, hey, it was another guy who will come. I mean, there are not so many people who come and teach us, but probably someone who talk about Western approach, like foreign approach that will not work in our country. But I'm quite satisfied. I mean, I'm a very critical person because I'm an academician and I always need to like assess something in it. But I'm very appreciate the approach because what I found out that we need a way to motivate the people, and you are a very motivating person yourself, so it's very cool. And this approach is very interesting.
Thank you.
All of this. If you can share some more tools, it would be very great.
Yeah, I can share. There might be some contact and list with contact details of people, and I can share the presentation, and I can share some interesting resources around different methodologies like this.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Yes.
So yes, first I just want to say you thank you so much. And to be honest, it is not something very new for me because we had some internships abroad. That's why we had the same games and a lot of experience the same. But the most powerful for me is that you are from different country and you are coming to Russia to show that it really works in other countries, because actually now we are enrolled in our master's degree in Moscow State Pedagogical University. And the grade is that we wanted to say to other teachers, at first teachers, that you have to see new modern methods of education. And when we are talking with our roommates and classmates about that, everything that you say, that's about we have to think about intelligence in our local community, not about the brilliance of every student, about to be like together but not separately in our room and blah 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 blah. Everybody is just checking our like something like this, and I'm really glad that you bring this experience in Russia, and maybe it can be really helpful not just for you, but real teachers who is already teach students from high school, from the middle school, I don't know how to say. Okay, middle school, yeah, all schools, yeah, secondary, and to show them real initiatives and practices like this game, how to be more attractive with students, something like this. And thank you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think one, yes, I haven't heard your voice, yes, I would love to hear more.
Спасибо за встречу с вами, за занятие, за то, что вы показали на практике очень конкретно один из методов, который вы применяете. Я занимаюсь экологическим просвещением в интерактивном направлении. И мне это очень близко и знакомо, и радостно, что это развивается у вас в университете, и что мы прикладываем с коллегами к этому усилия здесь. И хотелось бы пригласить тех, кто здесь сейчас, попробовать один из форматов интерактивного, формального прикосновения, в том числе и к теме устойчивого развития, которая достаточно такая вот умозрительная, кажется, но на самом деле ее можно опустить на наши бытовые повседневные привычки, которые связаны с разными сферами, которые все вместе составляют устойчивое развитие. В субботу и воскресенье будет игротеки «Хранители Земли». Это настольная игра, которая как раз направлена на то, чтобы связывать глобальные проблемы с повседневностью через формат игры.
Yes.
Да, в рамках фестиваля.
I would say yes, please do that. So I think we have run out of time. I would just want to say thank you so much for inviting me, and it was a real pleasure to be here with you. Unfortunately, I have to leave tomorrow. I'm flying back to Copenhagen to do another training, but I really enjoyed it, and yeah, as said, thank you so much for being here and yeah, showing up for this weird thing that I'm doing here. So thank you. So,
Okay.
yes.
I just get back
So one thing that we do